All hot paper craft. The first thing that you may have to do is to set up the blueprints so you have something to work by. And I'm going to show you how to do this. And you start with a regular general file. Yeah, this is actually just already here. And then what you need is you need three views. So here I have a front view, a basic side view, and a basic top view, which is actually views that I have drawn specifically. You can also download some on the internet. And yeah, so the first thing is you'll need to have them in Blender. But first you need to set up the size. And for that, you just keep this cube here. And then you have here next to the gizmo, you have this little arrow which you can open a tray. So in this tray in the bottom, you have the dimensions. Okay, so here are the dimensions. And with this, you can actually have the full size. So the size in an actual unit. And in order to show this full size, if you come in here in the top right corner, you will first have this kind of thing. And then you can switch here to properties. And in the properties, you have this one, which are the scene properties. Okay. And then in the scene properties, you have scene, and then here you have units. Okay, you also have gravity, but that's not really relevant for you. And then here units, you have unit system metric none. Okay, then it's just 2, whatever. Metric, then it's meters, or imperial, then it will be modified into foot and inch. And actually, so I prefer to use the metric system, sorry. Okay, and then here you can define the size. You should define the length of your car. Actually, you only need to define the length. Or if you have a plane, you can have the wingspan or whatever. A ship, you have the length. And then the others will actually be based on the first image that you import. So the length I want to have here is actually 4.33. Okay, so 4.33. And then it's always a good idea to move this to the origin. Okay, so that this, the corner will align with the origin on each direction. Okay, so now it's in the origin. And now you can start bringing in the images. And the easiest way to do this is actually to switch to the orthographic view. And then if you are on Mac at least, you can just drag it in. Yeah. Or otherwise, you will, of course, use here add mesh, not mesh, image, reference. And then you need to find your image. Yeah. So here. And yeah, there used to be a setting here where you have a line to view. Okay, but this seems to be now the preset. So add image drop. So now the image is added in. Okay, so now I can move this image to align with my box. And then of course I use the cursor here in the back. It's already here in the back. So I can use it here in the back to scale the image along based on the cursor, of course, to the size. And of course I will use the ring outside to make the scale proportional. So scale the car to the size. Now I can delete the box. Okay, so my second image is already here, and now you see something strange. Okay, so because this image was pulled in, it doesn't show. It only shows in the orthographic view. So those are the next things that you can change the settings about the images. So here, this one, you have here, down here, you have an image as a logo, as an icon. So here you have the stuff about the image. Okay, so here is called image. So here you should set these two to def. Okay, because well, actually. So here then you have orthographic. It means the image shows in the orthographic mode, but it does not show in the perspective mode because perspective is not checked. So I need to check this so I can show this in moves. And then you have these things, which we will get back to them a little bit later. Here they're already set to this mode. And actually for here, in this case, I actually want to have both images mirrored. Okay, so I will check both of them and then mirror them along y-axis, and once again move at least the side view into the origin, and then the bottom view I need to move it down and then scale it to match up with the side view. Okay, so like this. And then I can also get my front view, and of course I will switch it to perspective here again, and these two back to them, and then I will move this also to the origin, to the position here next to it, and then use the cursor in the corner to scale it down to match the size of the side view. Okay, so now I have the three of them together, and now I can switch to perspective, and I want to rotate this, of course, to lie flat on the floor. So this is always rotating around which axis, okay? So y is minus 180 because it's turned around, right? And I'm not sure if this is x or y. I think it should be. I think it should be z. No, it should be x. So x, yeah. So x should be 0 to let it lie on the floor. And then here for the front view, I think z should be 0. Okay, so now they are aligned in the correct position. And now what I will still do is I will make sure that they are aligned at the corners. Okay, so here, again, make use of the orthographic view, move it all the way to the origin here. And this is also why it's good to use the origin, because, be careful not to scale it if you don't want to scale it. So align it like this, and then align this one. And again, move it, use the view to move it to the origin, and then you can move it down, and then you have the basic view for to build the model on. Yeah, okay. And there are some most interesting things about the images. So here you have front and back. So if you click front, then it will only be seen from one side. Where is it? Oh, this one is occlusion. Okay, so this will, it will, you can see through here now, right? So you won't see this image anymore. Or likewise, if it's in the back, then it will be occluded by others. But it's better to keep it on def. And then front and back, this means an image will only be seen from one side. Okay. So this is helpful if you want to have the image from up, off, and from down. So then you can see in one direction, you see one image, in the other direction, see another image. Otherwise, if you have both, then it will basically be mirrored like this. And another thing that's useful is if you have the images, you can adjust the opacity. So you can click here, check the opacity, and then scale up and down to make the image more or less opaque. It's kind of funny because you have to turn on the opacity, although it's actually already opaque to start with. So this is actually more like transparency. Okay. Okay. So then you have the 3 view, and then you can start to build the car.